Hi, I'm Jody Lyneé Madeira. I'm an associate professor in the law school at the Maurer School of Law at Indiana University. And my research really consists of analyzing closure, particularly in the wake of culturally traumatic or toxic events such as the Oklahoma City bombing and 9/11. Now, after these events, one of the most compelling questions is actually what will happen to the perpetrators? What's going to happen to a Timothy McVeigh? What's going to happen to an Osama bin Laden? And most importantly, what effect will this have on victims' family members? And in fact, reporters focus on this very early on. Will 9/11 compensation funds, will memorial activities, what closure effects will this have? And then, of course, what effect will the death of Osama bin Laden have? And the American public also seems insatiably hungry for news of closure. In fact, it drives media coverage. We want a happy ending. We want people to feel that an event can be over in some sense, that people can move on with their lives. We want to move on with our lives, and in a sense it makes it easier if the victims' families also can. But I actually prefer to focus on a different question, which is what is closure? Now, closure as it's used in the media often refers to absolute finality, a sense that an event is over and done with forever. But I really think this sense cheapens an event, because after all, if an event is over and done with, what kind of legacy will it have? What historical lessons will it have? Why would we ever want to forget those who were murdered or the reasons why they were murdered? Instead, I prefer to focus on what is closure, which is a very different question. Now, murder victims' family members tell us that closure as absolute finality does not exist, yet they can still move on with their lives, as I learned through my interviews with Oklahoma City bombing victims' families and survivors. And in fact, closure, if it exists at all, is a process where psychological, social, and emotional adjustments need to be made by the victim's family member. And what this means is basically learning to tell the story of a toxic event, how to integrate that not only into a coherent narrative of what happened in that event, but also how to integrate that into someone's life, how to absorb the fact that someone was lost and that another individual is responsible for that loss. Now, often this is not an internal process. What victims' family members and survivors must do is interact with external institutions, such as the criminal justice system. They must make choices, such as whether to participate, whether to attend a trial, whether to attend or witness an execution. And they also must decide how to commemorate anniversaries or how to memorialize an event. And so really this is learning how to tell the story of an event, I guess you could say. And what this means when you look at a perpetrator's fate or death is that the death of someone like Timothy McVeigh or Osama bin Laden cannot bring closure, it can trigger closure, it cannot guarantee it. Instead, victims' family members must perform the very difficult emotional labor of integrating this newest event into their stories of the toxic event.